me well?
Yes, now.
Hi, we're from the Birmingham Mathematics. Can I start again?
It's okay, I will read it anyway.
Okay. Hi, we're from the University of Birmingham Mathematics Society, and we're raising money for the Teenage Cancer Trust today. So the Teenage Cancer Trust are a great charity. They're raising money to help support young people that obviously have cancer. They've got their own ward at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, so it's quite a local cause for us as well.
Okay, thank you.
ese sentimiento, ella deja de siento.
Oh yeah, I'm going there.
Sorry, do you have a lighter? Do you have a lighter?
No, I don't smoke. So can you present yourself, your business, and how it all started?
Okay. Hi, my name's George. I run Indigo Wholefoods. I've been in Moseley in Indigo for 12 years. Prior to that, I ran a health food shop called Sage Whole Foods, and I was here for another 10 years before that. We are very into organics, vegan food, health foods, fair trade food, raw food, and what we're trying to do is make a difference for consumers and for the environment.
And is it a passion? Is it something that you...
Very much so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, and so what your clients say about your business?
They like it. We have a lot of returning business. The same people come in week after week to buy the same things or new things. It's been very popular over the years.
And do you have a bestseller? Something that people always come back to buy?
Always oats. The refills of the household cleaning products are particularly popular at the moment.
Okay. And so regarding, like climate change is actually a very a subject that people speak about. So what are you doing to adapt to these concerns?
Okay, well, we have several ways that we're helping with climate change. All of our food products are vegan, so there's much less methane going into the environment because none of our products come through animal agriculture. Organic soil has got holds onto more carbon than conventionally grown soils. And then we're also helping with the plastic crisis. So we're taking back our plastic and waste now. So that anything that can't be recycled by the local council can come back here. So in that way, we're trying to be a zero waste shop as well.
Okay. Do you think of increasing your business, having a business in different cities or different suburbs?
We're very much about Moseley.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just the one shop in Moseley, and we're very happy with that.
Okay. Thank you very much, George.
That's my pleasure.
I lose you. Hello, can you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Ayihe and I live in Moseley, and I've been living in Moseley now for 5 years.
What do you like about Moseley?
Okay, so I like the
It's okay.
so I like the environment of Moseley. I like the shops. There's food shops, you got your banks, you got your supermarkets, you got your laundry, you got the post office. So everything is in one place, so you don't really have to travel far. So that's one thing I enjoy about Moseley. And also like a mix of people, which is also nice, and it's a clean environment. Also at night time, like there's a few pubs and there's some clubs that you can go to also, so that everything is together, which is very nice and unique, and that's what I like about Moseley.
Okay. Can you give us 2 spots that you like the most in the suburb?
Okay, 2 spots for food. I would say Indigo.
Why?
Indigo because they got unique, because it's an independent health store. They have unique products there. So I can go there. I can get like things that are exclusive, like my hemp protein I get from there, and also my dates I get from there, which I can't find anywhere. And the second place I would say is the Messina. What I like about the Messina is that they have like a small vegan option, and they have like small snacks you can get, like small soup, small falafel.
So you like options when they are small?
Not necessarily, but sometimes you don't want anything big, like sometimes you don't want a big plate. Sometimes you just want a snack, so like that's good. And also cakes, have vegan cakes there too, and the cakes are very nice.
You're a vegan, right?
Yes.
So how is it to be a vegan in Moseley?
So being a vegan in Moseley is very easy. There's a lot of vegan friendly shops, also health stores that care for vegans, that have a vegan variety, the vegan cakes, vegan pizzas, vegan ice cream, like vegan whatever, you name it, they'll have it. So like being a vegan in Moseley is very easy.
Thank you, Ayihe.
You're welcome.
Okay, now.
Hi, my name is Patrick. I have come over from Ireland. I've come over from England. I have come to Moseley because it's a very nice area. The people around there is very generous. I am homeless and they always feed me. They're very nice to me and the area is very generous. And it's better than the city centre because there's no drug addicts around here and people are very generous.
Okay.
And I like living around here because people help me out a lot.
Oh, that's great.
So get a free haircut from the barbers around here, the Turkish barbers here. He gives me a free haircut because he knows I'm on the street and I have no money. So it's very nice of the people to do that.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick.
Okay, thank you for your time.
One space in divisional. Yeah.
basically, and I'm sure it's the same in France, where you have a big country house,
Yeah.
the family and the servants and everybody have to be fed. So you have a farm
Mm-hmm.
of your own, sort of around.
Yeah.
And so down here, it was a farm. It was, I think, South Farm. And there were cows just in the field over there. But people remember them being walked across to be milked.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Wow. It's incredible.
So where Bez is standing,
Yeah.
those two left and right there, where you can see the berries, the rose
Yeah.
hips. Those are two rose beds. So the roses are 18th century type roses. And then the other two beds, where Roy is down there,
Yeah.
he's getting his machinery out. Again, they are old plants. And then we've added other things. We've got the herb bed here that Jill has tidied so beautifully. A little kitchen garden there, you see, with lots of rhubarb.
Yeah.
I don't know what rhubarb is in French.
Rhubarb.
Rhubarb, there you go. So we've got, and then we've got little fruit bushes and so on. So we've tried to make it look
It's beautiful.
cow house,
Oh,
and it has got a cow in it.
there's a cow in here.
But it's it wouldn't ever have had cows in it
Okay.
because it's too small.
Are you? I was wondering.
So there were cow sheds apparently a long time ago across from the building, across the road where that lady is, sort of out across there,
Okay.
long gone. But we still call it cow house. And again, it's the same age. So 1790 or something. You can see with all the age of the bricks and the brickwork. So you've been in the park.
Mhm.
You've been in the ice house.
No, I haven't been there.
Okay,
no.
well,
No.
the
I
ice
will go
house-
with you now.
Yeah, the ice house sort of is part of the set. You know, it's the same age, and it goes with the history of Moseley Hall. And it's absolutely fascinating. You'll love it.
Joseph Chamberlain's father and grandfather were shoe manufacturers, quite wealthy, in London. In 1851, the Great Exhibition, an American machine for manufacturing screws is displayed. Before then, screws were made by hand, and they didn't have a point on the end, so you had to drill a hole before you put the screw in. So, quite costly items. To get the British rights to the screw machine, they needed a lot of money. So, Joseph Chamberlain's father and his brother-in-law, John Nettlefold, put some money together to acquire the rights, and the Chamberlains put £10,000 in. 1850s. Part of the deal, though, was I'll put my money in, but you take Joseph Jr., my son, into the business. So he's 18, he comes up from London, from Highbury, which is why this is called Highbury, that's where they live. And he's taken into the business, and he's a phenomenally good businessman.
Is it Joseph Chamberlain or his son?
This is Joseph, it's confusing because the three Josephs, the father, the grandfather and the son are all Joseph Chamberlain. So we're talking the son now. Really he's Joseph III, but he is the first, he's our Joseph Chamberlain, the first one.
The famous.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's here, comes here at the age of 18. 20 years later, the Chamberlains sell out of the business. They had invested £10,000, they take out £600,000.
Good investment.
Joseph Chamberlain, this one, gets £120,000 that. Spend £35,000 building this house. So this is a major part of his money is spent, or a significant part, is spent building this family home. With his trademark, always a monocle. There's speculation about whether he actually needed a monocle, or was it just something that made him identifiable. So when you see cartoons of Chamberlain, you always see cartoons with him with his monocle in. So he's immediately, you draw a thin man with a monocle, it's Chamberlain. But also with his buttonhole. The orchids, he was obsessed with orchids. And actually there's a group here that are doing some displays for some orchids, doing something about orchids here. So you'll hear later on, apart from the 58 rooms here, there were 24 glass houses here. And he grew orchids here. Well, he did. The 20 servants that were the outdoor workers. Some of the species were, unique to Chamberlain. In Britain, we don't tend to name things after characters while they're still alive. We did the Chamberlain Memorial that was put up in his lifetime. He was, and you still talk to people in Birmingham, and they know about Chamberlain, although he died in 1914. He died over 100 years ago. Yet he's still in the consciousness of the city of Birmingham.
Wow.
So this is the so-called west bedroom, which we think was only actually used for guests. This wasn't assigned to a particular member of the Chamberlain House. Politicians up till his time, by and large, were landed gentry. Yeah, he breaks the mould in many ways, because he comes up to Birmingham as a young man. He then goes onto the school board, so schooling and education is a big thing. And then he's the mayor of Birmingham for 3 years in a really crucial period when the water and gas is sorted out, paving and housing reform is a big thing. I do two guides at the back-to-backs, I don't know if you've been to the back-to-backs, but housing in Birmingham was absolutely appalling, and Chamberlain has the vision and gets through getting rid of back-to-back housing and building Corporation Street as a major street. So he is a really big character. So this would have become the bedroom for Joseph and Mary. And I think eventually they'll put that bed set in here, because that's probably where it belongs. We, at the moment, Highbury gets quite a lot of income from weddings. So this is, although people can't stay overnight, this is where the bride changes. You get photographs taken.
Look like a swan.
So it's to make, so this is of the period, but it isn't actually Chamberlain furniture.
Yeah.
When Chamberlain died, Austin didn't want to live here, so this was all sold. There was a big sale in 1914. Obviously they took a lot of the furniture, the family divided it up, but other than that, all the contents of the house and greenhouses was sold.
And he became 78. It's quite old for the time.
Yeah, unfortunately he, on his 70th birthday, 1906, there was a massive party in Birmingham. He did a tour of the city, of the city parks. Hundreds of thousands of people lined the route. He, like in a car, and then they had firework displays and that. He did a huge speech at the Bingley Hall, and then he went back to London. And a couple of days later, he had a major stroke, which incapacitated him. He couldn't speak, he couldn't move, he was in a wheelchair. Over time, they hid it all, so nobody knew this, so he was arguably he was still significant politician, fairly at the peak of his powers, really. He never properly recovered his speech. He could only sort of make very guttural noises. He sort of retired from politics. He was still an MP for a bit, and then eventually he retired. So his last few years were not the Chamberlain that he would have liked.
It's interesting.
So this is some work that's being done around Chamberlain, and these are all orchid holders.
I
Is that
can
right?
happily talk.
Go on, give us 5 minutes on these. Did it from the horse's mouth.
Right, so my name's Matt, and I'm an artist, and I've been working with an orchid expert called Philip Seaton. This door here, in the old layout, would open out into an extensive network of glass houses, and Chamberlain grew many of those. Most of those glass houses were dedicated to growing orchids, which became his sort of motif. He was recognisable to the general public because he had such an extravagant dress sense. So he had sort of purple indigo suits, top hat, monocle, and this, not just any old flower, but like a really exotic flower, like often a white Odontoglossum crispum orchid, which was at the time considered to be one of the world's most beautiful orchids. So comparing with someone like David Lloyd George, who was, the prevalence was for politicians to have beards or sideburns. He was a clean-shaven, top hat, quite a dandy, quite a figure. And of course, he grew the orchids. He would have 2 sent down to the Houses of Parliament every day, right next to a train station, King's Heath, and he would be wearing fresh orchids all the time. So I guess what I've been interested in is the sort of use of visual metaphor at Chamberlain, because essentially we're wearing such a rare and beautiful orchid. He was essentially saying, take me seriously, because he was new money into politics. He was a self-made, in inverted commas, as much as the extent that his family wealth. The dilemma of all of this is that he imported hundreds of thousands of orchids from places largely like Colombia and Brazil and South America. And of course, this sets a value for a plant in South America. And of course, often it would die in transit across the Atlantic, and they were trying to work out how to grow this plant ex situ in glasshouse, and it was a very expensive process. And so just for the purpose of him having this rare exotic flower was this industry of, suddenly the plant at the top of a tree was worth $50 dollars, not 50 pence, you know. And I guess I'm interested in exploring that aspect of his legacy.
You'll see here, it was given, the whole estate was given to the city. Well, it was actually given by Joseph Chamberlain to the citizens of Birmingham, to the people of Birmingham. And that's part of the reason that we've got these open days, is to encourage people to come in and also as evidence to give to the lottery that, you know, people want to come, and this will be a place that can be for the people. In the First World War, this was a military hospital, and stayed being a hospital for I think it became neurological issues from ex-servicemen until the 1930s, and then it was turned into an old people's home. And when they knocked down the greenhouse and built what's now called, since I've come to school, but it's Chamberlain House is what the building's called. Those were part of it was a home for elderly women. So they had bedrooms in here, but also up there as well. And then eventually the city took it over in the 80s and refurbished it, but now have handed it over to the Birmingham Trust. So this is the commemorative bit that was put up.
Hi, so can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Izzy Knowles, and I do stuff around Moseley.
Okay.
Because I love living here.
Okay, so can you speak about the Moseley Litter Busters that you do on Sundays?
Yeah, so we started the Moseley Litter Busters over 2 years ago now, and the reason being was it was in the summer and we have the festivals, and I got upset that on Sundays especially that Moseley looked so full of litter because we didn't have a beat cleaner on a Friday or a Sunday, and so because it's, you know, the big nighttime economy in the summer, and here it always looked a mess. And then when we'd have the festivals, we'd have people coming visiting, and you know, I didn't like it. So we started Moseley Litter Busters, first of all meeting after the festivals, and lots of people thought it was a really great idea, people turned up. So then we went from a monthly clean to very quickly a weekly clean, and we've been meeting every Sunday ever since. So we meet here on the green at 9 o'clock every Sunday, and we litter pick from up the village, and depending on how many of us are, we also do the car park. We also go that way all the way up to Queensbridge School and down Salisbury Road if necessary, around Woodbridge, and we've also helping other groups set up. So there's now a group that meets fortnightly in the Moor Green Lane area. There's a group that meets in Swallow's Lane area every 2 or 3 months, and we've recently got a group in Walsall Heath as well. So it's growing, people get out, it gets them out, it gets some pride in the neighbourhood, it keeps the streets clean. And we've also now got a beat sweeper on a Friday as well, so although there's nobody on a Sunday, it has made a difference because we're working with the council and with businesses to make them think about keeping the shop areas outside their shops clean, making them have a think about the rest of the area, not just their little bit. And yeah, it's made a difference. It's good. I'm very pleased with it. I'm very proud that it's continued and grown in the way it has.
I'll go to Moseley.
Yeah, I'm about to go and take
some
of the stuff up. Yeah.
Do you want to walk up and...
Oh, yeah, that would be brilliant. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I'll do my best.
Some people get a bit carried
be
away
safe.
and they see something in the street and they rush out. Yeah. And also,
Okay.
if you see needles, leave them. Just
Yeah.
tell us where they are. We can come and collect them.
Okay.
We've got a box.
All good. All the weather's getting better.
So the 29th of March, so that's just 2 weeks on Sunday, we're going to be doing a huge big litter pick and spring clean for the Great British Spring Clean, where we've got the Moseley group, newly formed Moseley group, the Moseley group, and we're also teaming up with the group that's worked from King's Heath in King's Heath, all volunteers, and there'll be 3 meeting places. So Moseley Heath will be outside the swimming baths, here in Moseley, or King's Heath, which is on the corner of Station Road and King's Heath High Street, the bid office at the back of Museum Park. So they're the 3 points, 9:30 a.m. Sunday the 29th of March. We'd like to get everybody out. Let's have a great big clean up of the A435. Love where you live. You know, show that we really appreciate Birmingham and we want it to look good. Thank you.
Yes, so I would like to know what's your view on the graffitis, because I can see there's a lot in Moseley. So who is responsible of cleaning up, you know, all these graffitis? Is it the Birmingham City Council? Is it like private companies? So
when you get graffiti, if it's on private property, then it's the responsibility of the owner of that property to deal with it. If it's on public owned property, then the council will deal with it. Graffiti, you know, some people call it street art. There's difference, and so you will get some of it looks quite good, some of it looks awful. But the stuff that tends to look awful that people, you know, don't like is tagging, and you get youngsters especially, but it can be any age group, but mainly youngsters who develop a tag, and it's like a marking process, you know, so they put the tag there and they see how many areas that they can get their tag, and you know, other people will recognise their tag and see that they've been there. So it's a bit like that. With graffiti, the best way to deal with it is to get rid of it early on. First of all, it's easier to remove when it's put there, but also, you know, when you get one lot of graffiti, then you'll start getting more and more. So leaving it just adds to it, and it makes the place look down. So the best way is to remove it. So that's what we've been doing, working with the shopkeepers to try and get them, either they can remove it off shutters, or we can help them remove it with their permission. We've got graffiti kits that we've been supplied with by the council, so we use that to remove it off some of the public, you know, like the bins, the litter bins and the railings and stuff. Or we can, you know, if it's beyond us doing it, we'll report it to the council and get them to come and remove it. So, but it's an ongoing problem. You just have to keep battling it. And also, if you get evidence, if you get you know, somebody who's really serially doing graffiti, then we also include the police, report it to the police and try and get them to work. You have to work in a partnership, really. I don't want to say that I'm not against street art at all. I think that some of it looks fabulous, and I think, you know, again, trying to work with the shopkeepers to think about being a bit more inventive and creative. You know, when they're not in their shops, they're not there, they don't see what it looks like with the shutters down. So get them to think about maybe painting the shutter in a way that it won't encourage graffiti. We did a great project when with Moseley Forum, when before Marks and Spencer's was built, and there were hoardings around it, and we clubbed together, we got some money, the farmers market gave us a grant, and we got a local artist, a street artist, Mohammed Ali, who's quite famous, and he did a brilliant mural with, you know, with trees around that, and we hardly got any graffiti on it. And so if we're able to do that sort of thing, and it doesn't have to be that expensive, then that's brilliant. That's I think how we should be doing it.
Loving my friend, hey. I don't want the woman in I don't want the Empress Lee. I don't want the Princess Request. Yes, Rastamantic, Miss Pretty. Bring your body come, you want Rastaman love. And Miss Ever Ready, bring your body come, you want Rastaman love. Woman, stamina you want to be run, get some. Want some and not the answer, real and son. It's like you had the cheese, it had the bun, it's so sweet, it's so nice. And I want this father, them not hold them harder. Get on your feet, cross the border. Tell them mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry, sister hungry. Do something for the poor.
Have to be your biggest fan, and when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that, because you don't know who you're going to meet, because you don't know who you're going to meet. have to be your biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that. Because you don't know who you're going to meet.
Oh, no shit.